Welcome back to an episode on this channel, Prophecy for the Last Hour. I hope that you will subscribe to this channel if you're new, that you will like this video, share it. There's a lot of good meat, as I always say. So today I'm again going down a whole new rabbit trail that with some information that I'd like to share. I'm going to talk about the soul, right? So the title of this today is The Immortality of the Soul. And this is something really huge. I mean, it is a huge topic. It is, I mean, the sages, the rabbis, the prophets have talked about this for thousands of years. So there's no way I can do a really in-depth, fully Jewish exegesis on the nature of the soul. But I have a few points I want to get out here. But, you know, one of these is Yeshua. I like to tell people, is Yeshua came to save our souls. I mean, that's really the whole message of the gospel. You know, he came to save your soul. But Western Christianity, in my opinion, especially Gentile Western Christianity, at the end, we don't really know much about the soul. Really, it is not. And yet, in Jewish exegesis, and even in the ancients' understanding, the way they had so much more understanding about the soul. It was very real to them and very immortal. So let me, as my jumping off point, now a lot of, this is why sometimes to me the translations are almost, they're so hard to read sometimes because you know, some of the words they use for like even soul, if you were to translate, is so out of Hoyle, it doesn't give you the understanding. You really have to get into the Hebrew. You have to learn the different words for soul. There are 5 basic words that describe the soul, and it's very deep and nuanced, and the rabbis, the sages, our prophets have it all. It's all very linear, neat and tidy, put into categories and subcategories and all of this. But we're going to start today talking about, I'm going to start with the mystical understanding, because truly our soul technically would fall under the category of a mystical theology, because it's something you can't see. It's part of the invisible realms. That's why today's secular mindset, you know, they don't want to deal with anything in these invisible realms. Well, you know, especially if you're a person of faith, you truly understand that's where all the action is. That's where, oh my gosh. So let's just start out with I'm going to give you a blitzkrieg, very fast, kind of, and it is Kabbalistic in the sense of it's our mystical understanding of the levels of the worlds, the heavens. Remember, there's the heavens and the earth, plural, and how this fits in. Now, I'm going to screen share 2 charts. All right, so I want you to look at this chart. All right, this is a really good chart somebody put out there. I hope it's got a ton of information. The way this thing is laid out and graphed and how it is a very well organized graph of putting forth a ton of information really about the soul. All right, about the worlds, about Adam Caveman. There's just so much information. But now just take a look at this, because seriously, this is what you have to understand. This chart, this is the traditional Kabbalistic chart, right? They're both saying the same thing. All right, when you learn a language, or if you learn, like I said, the chemical language, you learn how to read the charts. You learn what the abbreviations are, what they stand for. This is where we need to go. We need to be able to read this thing, because this is called the tree of life. It's spoken over and over in our Bible. It is the tree of life, and it has very specific understandings. It's all graphed and chart. And we named it out, like I said, don't be afraid of it. It's very beautiful. It's amazing how much information you can put in a chart, and then when you learn how to read it. So what we're going to do is there are 5 worlds. There's 5 worlds, and there's 5 levels of the soul. There are 5 Hebrew words, and they all relate to each other. But we're going to go back to this chart, because this one gives us a lot of good information. This is laid out in a way. So let's go back to this one. Now this starts up with the 4 names the 4 letters of the Tetragrammaton, right? Yud, He, Vav, He. I mean, that is the essence, the name of the essence of Elohim, right? Okay, but let's go down here. So that's what that is. That is everything of Elohim. Soup to nuts. Yod, He, Vav, He. All right? Down in this gray part, these little boxes, and there's 4 here called they're worlds. Asiyah, Yetzirah, Bariah, and Atzilut. Okay, and there's another one. There's 5. Technically, a lot of times they show only 4 because the 5th one is like so beyond. It's like, don't even bother because all we can really know is that it's there. All right, that's the omnipotent. Elohim's there. All right. But when you get into this understanding of Kabbalah, of this mystery, what you're dealing with are the two kind of the two extremes of Elohim, really, within it. There's what's called his immanence, what we can know, his divine presence that is with us, that is revealed to us, that we can interact with. That's known as the immanence. That's what this chart, there is a level of Elohim that we can relate with, all right? Intellectually, emotionally, and our soul can totally commune with this level of the immanence. Then you have the omnipresent, the Elohim that is outside of creation. He's outside. We can't. So you have to understand these two concepts that are both true, two sides of the exact same coin. But our scriptures really deal predominantly with what is known as the immanence of Elohim, where we can know him. And so they have, according to the Hebrew words, and this is my point, Hebrew words are codes. The way the letters are combined, and they have meaning on many levels, because there are many levels to God. Look at Yod, He, Vav, He. There's 4 letters. There's definitely 4 levels now. I mean, each level. Okay, see, this is the way it works. So these 4 worlds are dimensional places. Our Bible is full of information about these quote-unquote dimensional places, all right? Now, they're in, so let me see, how can I keep it simple? I mean, it's taken me years to truly be able to, so I would hope that I could try to get it a little quicker and shorter and easier for people to pick up on these concepts. But let me go through this again. There is the world of Asiyah. This is known as the world of creation, the world of physicality, the world of matter, the world that we live in with our body. All right, our bodies live in this world of Asiyah. Now, what I'm going to get into it is when we die, our quote unquote, our soul separates from the body and it goes somewhere else. Okay, souls don't die at this point; they go places. All right, and this is like hugely interesting. All right, then you have. So let me just this concept of the world of Asiyah, which is known as the body, which is used as words like the earth. We need to understand this philosophy, because the way our patriarchs use these words, they're using them in the context of this theology. And that's a fact. All right. So the body is, it's solid. There's, like I've said many times, there's, oh my gosh. This is why you see the word west there, because there is direction. There's so many levels that this thing relates on, and that they code information into it. But when man became a living soul, all right, this was the beginning. Our soul, when it says that the life of the flesh, okay, the life, you have to understand these were Hebrew words. Life in that category is the word living. I've been through this is the kind of word living, che, Nefesh, soul life, which is, so let me, before I get into these 4 worlds, I have to explain to you there's 4 soul levels, and each soul level is connected or functions in one of these worlds. So you really could look at it like a computer program, which is really kind of what it is almost, and each program has its area of domain of things that it will do. It can interface and interact and make and That's its whole world. Whatever has been written into that program is what that world, that dimension can do, interface, all right? So this is what is called the Nefesh, which is the lowest level of soul life. And we share this, man and beast share what's called Nefesh. This life, which is in our blood, meaning it is, it flows through our blood. That's exactly where it is housed, okay? Seriously, in our physical bodies, okay, houses this Nefesh, soul life. Now, somebody have to say, soul life, you have to look at it like it's a program. It's not part of the body, but it's put into the body. This is the whole point. We have these treasure, these different programs, so to speak, so living in a vessel, which is always the body. So when this body dies and disintegrates and goes back to dust, which let me say, in the Hebrew represent, that is a word apar, A-P-A-R, which means dust. And I'll get at what that is referring to. All right, so our bodies are made of apar, A-P-A-R. They go back to apar. Our bodies go back to dust. They're made of dust, which is a very specific Hebrew word with a very specific theology around it. And then they go back to that. Okay, but that's just the body. See, this is what it was always just talking about the body. It wasn't talking about the soul. The soul goes someplace else upon its separation from the body. There's so much in Jewish exegesis about where the soul originates from. I say that in our text, in our Tanakh, in our Torah, Old and New Testament. I mean, there's full of information about this soul. So, but all right. So there is a level of soul life operating within a world or a dimension. All right. Now, when it says that we are, in 1 Thessalonians 5:23, Paul, who has a total handle on the mystical understandings of Judaism, and that is huge to the storyline. I wish people would understand that when they want to bash Paul. They don't understand. He is operating on a much higher level of consciousness, of revelation, all right, than we could even dream to have, because we've lost so much. That's why that's why it's hard to say. Okay, I can preach. So the body is where is housed our sense consciousness. This is what it's talking about. Nefesh is referred to a lot of times as an animal soul. It's a I've done a lot of teachings, it's called the beast soul. It is a soul like that is really down here to serve the body, in a sense, to animate the body. So in other words, what's the point of having a robot, so to speak, if you don't have a program that you can make it come alive, make its arms move and its mouth move and make it, there's no point. It's just a lifeless statue, right? Or stiff. So you need these programs. You need this level of soul, like this nefesh, to animate. All right. And it is ruled by the 5 senses. So it's this nefesh soul is in our bodies because it is enabling us to use the 5 senses that are part of this body to do things, all right? So, and it comes, all right, I don't want to, okay, then you have, let me just try to do this quick without giving, then you have, so it's the 5 senses. You have the next level of soul life, which is called Yetzirah here, the world of formation. So this is the famous verse in Isaiah where he says, I have formed you, I have made you, I have created you. What he's saying in that, when you understand, is yes, the different programs of your soul life, all those different levels, I made them. I'm Elohim, and he's telling us, I made that program. I formed that one in you. I created that soul life program in you. Right? That's what he's telling us. All right. The soul, in the next level, in Yetzirah, is called a world of formation. All right. So let me just say down here, because each of these is equated with, this is the whole point, you get these earth, air, wind, and fire concepts, which is constantly in ancient literature. And it's talking about different states of being on many levels. There's different states of being. You can be dense matter, you can be air, you can be gaseous, it can be water, all right? And on every level, those have a specific meaning in the dimension that you find them. So the word of Essene is a lot of times, that is the word Ruach. That's where our Ruach, see, is. And the Ruach is, the best way to look at it is the Ruach is, it's like a barometer. It goes up and down. When you're in a very worshipful situation and your soul is totally engrossed in the concept of Elohim, you're worshiping, you're praising him, you're connecting him. Your Ruach is like, whoa! It's like going. It's like at 100 degrees. It's like so it's like a barometer. So it's way up there. Okay, it is. It's on fire. You know it. Okay, the Ruach is what brings us our states of our up and down. But the flip side is your Ruach can become totally engrossed in carnal sin for pornography. So the total opposite. You're totally overcome with a lasciviousness. I don't think I said that. A spirit, let's say, or mindset where you're just totally in a depraved. I mean, this is how you gotta see it. I mean, it's a very depraved, low-level, animalistic, devoid of any holiness, goodness, purity, the higher parts of our being. Okay, and it's full of just plain pleasure for the lower, the Nefesh. All right, it only serves to feed the Nefesh. It has no connection at all to Elohim and experiencing him on high levels of purity and holiness. All right, so your Ruach, that's why it's like wind, because you know the wind comes and goes. It blows high, it blows cold, it just like we are. That's why it says, and it's very much equated in the concept with our emotional life. You know, 1 minute you're angry, the next minute you're peaceful. We have very volatile. Wind is a very kind of almost volatile, you know, it can be very peaceful and calm, and a gentle little breeze. It can kick itself up into a total tempest, hurricane, you know, tornado, whatever. All right. So the Ruach, this world of formation, is extremely, but these two, the Nefesh part of our soul life, our programs that run in our blood, that are operate with all the laws, the natural law of Asiyah, and our soul life is our astral life, is our emotional life, is also in this world of Yetzirah. This is where camps, quote unquote, of the angels are. The angels dwell in 4 camps, all right? These angels that are in this category this is where the problem angels are, and this is where the good angels are, and this is where the battle is. You know, it says, Yeshua said, the battle is in the heart. This is our heart. See, it says right there, for out of the heart come the Yeshua's life. This is because we have a battle going on now because of what's happened between our good inclination and our bad inclination. We have 2 programs running in us now because of the fall. And I don't want to get into the details of it, but basically, because of the fall of Adam and Eve, the Garden, there's so much. If people could understand it on a really deep level, what's going on is this is the case of mixing of dimensions, okay, where worlds became entangled, became mixed, became hybridized when they weren't supposed to, which has caused all sorts. And what happens once they got hybridized, mixed, their root systems got entangled with each other. So this is why, you know, and Paul, the wretched man that I am, you know, I want to do good, but I do evil because I have a war going on. I have 2 sets of almost DNA programs that run in me that are firing pistons all the time. All right, we're constantly, and this is an angelic thing, and I'm going to get fleshed out a little bit more. There's a constant war going on. All right, so that is the world of Yetzirah. And it is called the world of self-consciousness. So this is our mind and our heart, our intellect, our emotions, our will, a lot of things, the individual, the personality. This is all tied up in our Ruach, in our Yetzirah, in this world of Yetzirah. All right? The next level you go up to is this world called Bariah. All right? And Bariah is the world of, you know, he says, for my glory I have created it. This is the highest level of soul life that is really, that this would be the goal of a righteous Sadiq. You want to function, in other words, you want to get this program of Berea turned on all the time. This is what you want to be your operating system for life, okay? Because when you're in this world of Berea, this world of creation, you are attached to the throne. You are doing righteous, holy deeds. You are communing with the Father. You are way above any of the sense living, you know, the lust of the flesh, the pride of life. Your body's not telling you what to do. You're not driven by carnal things. You have really escaped out of the clutches of these angels, the evil inclination. You are higher in the pecking order than the demonic angels and spirits, so they can't nip at you. They can't get at you. So important to understand these things, because on so many levels. So in the world of Berea, which is, like I said, this is the place that Yeshua came to take us up to get us above these two other fallen, they're really fallen worlds. There's a lot of mixture, there's a lot of warfare, there's a lot going on, and we of ourselves, these forces, these programs are too strong for us. This is the whole point. Unless you get up to world breed, unless you can kind of walk that straight and narrow path, you are going to fall. And this, we'll get into how some of these words and the imagery, the parabolic language, the allegory, this is what it's telling us. The final, one of the last worlds, the world of absolute, the world of emanation. This, and I'm not even going to go there, the two highest, because really, truly, this is the level Atziach of what do we call the gods? I mean, this is the Sephirithic world that is outside of the seven, or outside of this whole world of Asiyah, Yetzer, and Berea. Absolute operates outside. It's not affected by what's going on there, and it's totally above it and beyond it. It's very ethereal, you know. But this is where the Moshiach, this is sort of, and the level above that, Yechida, is a level of, you know, of Adam came in. This is the Ruach. This is the level, you know, and how to explain. This is where Moshiach, this is where our salvation comes from, the Ruach. There is a place that is so secure, so solid, so above it all. The plan is being executed beautifully. Nothing can change it. We're all going to go home at some point. It's all going to be fine. You know, it's not affected by the winds and the waves and all that stuff down in the lower levels, okay? But for all intents and purposes, that's not what we're immediately affected by, all right? That's our peace, our anchor, our security. It's all going to be fine. So in this world, let me see if I said, so in the world of Berea, which I get is the more mental consciousness, okay? So it's our God consciousness. So I went from the body sense consciousness, you know, my five, feeding the lusts of the flesh. A fallen Nefesh nature is very beastly. That's why, because it's just concerned with me, give me my needs, make sure I'm, you know, all the lusts of the flesh, okay? The soul is higher, it's more elevated, which is the Ruach. Our emotions are, which can be, and this is the point, this is most of us, this is where the chasing, this is the whole point, to get our Ruach disentangled, free from all these other tentacles of fallen bits of angelic DNA, whatever, you know, there's so many ways to explain it, but you have to kind of look at it like, if you ever gone into the garden and you're trying to untangle a total weed that has grown up inside a plant, and oh my gosh, this thing's got tentacles everywhere, and you just, oh my gosh, trying to pull it free. Okay, that's what's going on in our world of Yetzirah, where we need to get free. This is where we need to get our freedom, all right, so that we can live unhindered, blissfully, happy, healthy, holy in the land of Berea, okay? So that's, and then our God, which is our God consciousness, all right? Now, this is all the point, and this is the point that 1 Thessalonians 5:23 says, pray that your whole body, soul, and spirit will be blameless unto the coming of Yahweh, okay? So, now there's a couple of important things I have to understand, or say, for people to understand. Let's talk about this. There's this whole, it's very encrypted, it took me a while to figure it out. The difference between the 4 winds and the 4 elements, the 4 corners. You understand, everything on earth is an archetype of something that's in heaven. Everything in heaven has a parallel down on the earth. So even in the temple, when it had 4 corners of the altar, you see this phraseology all the time. You know, what are they talking about? Okay. This idea, the soul, okay, like I said, and I'm going to give you the 4 words, or the 5. Let me see, I had a little piece of Hebrew. If you want to go and check my Hebrew, go for it. All right. The soul is called by 5 names. And there's the Nefesh, which is, I believe, Strong's 2315. There's the Ruach. All right. There is the Neshama. And these all, so we're going from the world of Asiya with the Nefesh, the world Yetzirah with the Ruach, the world Beriah with the Neshama, into the 2 higher worlds, the world of Atzilut, which is Haya, which is the soul level of Haya, to which they would call, it has different names, Yekudah, all right, the world of Ensa, the highest world, all right. So those 5 words, believe it or not, are in our Hebrew text, and unfortunately the translators don't have any understanding of these distinctions or this theology truly from a Hebraic point of view, so it's very hard to figure out. And it's also equated with the 4 names of the soul. So like I told you, we're only dealing with Asiya, Yetzirah, and Beriah, okay? So the Nefesh, the Ruach, and the Neshama, which a lot of times in translations will be referred to as the soul, the spirit, and then the breath. The breath is always associated with the highest level, the world of Beriah, which we function in. That's what was breathed into Adam on the 6th day when all the other programs were made and ready, and everything was in place to bring forward this Adam. This was the crowning achievement, going to be the crowning glory of everything that Elohim had imagined that he wanted to make. Now, the thing that for our purpose, what we need to understand is that the soul that is created from the 4 winds of heaven, all right? When you understand, and something I am going, the Sephirific tree of life, I just can't stress it enough. This is foundational Hebrew roots theology. The 4 winds of heaven is referring to this whole world of Yetzirah and Beriah and the Sephirific emanations that are there. Okay, that is what it's referring to. So our soul, we have programs in us that are operating at those levels of soul life, all right? But the body, again, the body, our human container, is formed from the 4 elements of the earth. And this is, like I said, the word dust, we're made of the dust, is from a Hebrew word called apar, and it does refer literally to the chemical, the most elemental chemical elements that we are made up of and that we share with most of all the rest of creation. All right, we share a lot of the same organic chemical compounds. All right, those are the 4 elements of the earth, which is what are the 4 corners. And it's it relates again to body. Earth, air, wind, and fire. The fire of it represents is our emotional, emotion. We have literally compounds in us that form into dense matter. I mean, obviously, hair, lips, eyes, arms, flesh. And we have wind. We have the Ruach, earth, air, wind, and fire. Okay, so what you understand is on every level, the world above us, let's say the world of Beriah, which is our thought consciousness, descends down into the next level, which would be the world of Yetzirah. So you go from the head to the heart, okay? And then you go from the heart, where the Nefesh is, which is, you got to understand, the Nefesh which is the program that animates the body, and then you go all the way down into the world of materiality, into the actual organic particles that make up all life.